we can start. Um, I would like Ola, you to maybe have a few introducing words, some welcoming words for the retreat. You all know Ola. She is a beloved sister from another mister, our spiritual sister, who's been very diligent in organizing and bringing us all together. Now, this is easy. We're all in the same more or less same time zone, but the retreat is an international retreat, and we will all benefit from sharing and exchanging with teachers and practitioners from all over the globe to see their perspectives, to see their joys, and to get in touch with their challenges. And organizing has surely been also a challenge. So what, Ola, are your hopes and wishes for this retreat?
Thank you, dear brother, dear Thay, dear friends. My hopes and wishes for this retreat are that we all come home to ourselves to be a natural human being full of care and compassion, that we take really good care of ourselves and take really good care of each other so that we can take really good care of our pupils and students. I hope we inspire each other by the wonderful work that you're all doing out there. And I hope we strengthen friendships so that we can keep walking this path together. In kind of this beautiful, kind, compassionate, wise path. So that seems like more than enough hopes from me for one weekend. Yeah, and you're also warmly welcome, maybe on behalf of the organizing team. So there's a fleet of people behind us who have helped to make this possible. And you're so warmly welcome. And the schedule, the full schedule, you'll be able to see this evening. And you're welcome to any part of the schedule. So although it's organized by time zones, if you're awake early or late, you're very welcome to join anything that you would like to take part in. So please know you belong in any part of the schedule. And if there are things you would like to share, you feel inspired to offer, or a space you would like to create, please contact us so that we can create the space together that takes care of all our needs. And gives us space for us to share from our hearts and learn from each other. I bow.
Wonderful. Thank you for the warm welcome, Ola. Dear respected Thay, dear beloved sisters and beloved brothers, welcome to Happy Teachers Together. And guess what? That's us. We are the happy teachers. We are the happy teachers here. And this is a happy moment. This is such a beautiful occasion, an opportunity to come together from so many continents to share our practice. As I said, to share our joys and our challenges. That I'm really looking forward to come on time to all activities that ring a bell for me, and which I want to hear more from and connect with people and share and hear their perspectives too. As teachers in any kind of section, wherever we work and transmit knowledge, we studied for it. As teachers, we transmit a knowledge that we have gained in university to transmit it to the younger generation, to keep something going in the world, wisdom, knowledge, be in whatever field, be it in science, languages, philosophy, whatever it is. In our tradition, we don't need to study a lot for many years to transmit the knowledge, or let me say the wisdom, everyone carries within them. And Thay was always very clear and having been taught by his teacher and his teacher from all this ancestral stream, which is a beautiful heritage reminding us that all we need to know, all what we do know, comes from within us. And that if we are able to stop and listen deeply to ourselves, that we will be able not only to hear that, but also to share it on. So it will not be lost, but it will be transmitted to future generations. And them receiving it, it will be transmitted further. So it's really like, I see it often as a relay race. Thay has given us his knowledge, his wisdom, his practice, his insights, and sharing it openly and fully with us. And here we are receiving it and holding it in our hands. We're letting it sit there, looking at it deeply, letting it settle in. We listen to it deeply. We might filter out what we see helpful for us and what we see we don't want to pass on. So while we hold it and embrace it with love and compassion, in gratitude, we will know how to transmit and pass it on to those who we are teaching. This is the ancestral stream, the stream of this beautiful practice, so it may live, and it has lived so far for so many generations, 2600 years only since the Buddha. And all of us, I see, we are committed and determined with a lot of love for our fellow beings, for our future generations, to pass that on, to pass on peace, to pass on understanding, acceptance, all these beautiful seeds we have learned to touch in ourselves. So really all we have to do in our practice is to stop thinking, to stop moving, to stop running after knowledge. Why should we always run after another degree, after another certificate? Are we really wiser when we have that certificate? I don't think so. I think when we are able to arrive in this very moment, when we make ourselves able to listen to ourselves, to stop and to listen deeply to our breathing, to our thinking, learn to embrace our emotions, be it painful or pleasant, we will be able to get in touch with these seeds of our consciousness, with the wholesome seeds and with the unwholesome seeds. And I think this is the very teaching that Thay gave us. Thay is a super breather. He's a master breather. And during his sickness, all doctors wondered after his stroke. They said, "We can't believe how this man can be still alive. He's still breathing." And we as his disciples, we said, he's a master breather. If somebody knows how to breathe, it's Thay. And he has transmitted this superpower to us, which everyone has. We breathe throughout our whole lives. And it depends how much attention we pay to our breathing, how present we are for our breathing, for the life beating inside of us. And it is so simple because it is so visible. When we breathe, our tummy is rising and falling, and we can feel we are alive. Thay always said, the breath remains the vehicle that unites body and mind and opens the gate to wisdom. And that is so beautiful. That's a gate to wisdom. If we are able to recognize, to observe, to listen to our breathing, to surrender and accept our breathing, be it short or long, be it fast or slow, deep or shallow, will we be deeply in touch with ourselves, and will we be able to pick us up wherever we are emotionally. If we are stressed, if we are super excited, there will be acceptance of who we are right now. Also knowing that this will pass. As our excitement will pass, our joys, so that we really learn to enjoy them deeply while they are there. And to also be and hold and embrace our suffering, knowing that also this will pass just like a breath. Some of our pain might pass like kidney stones, but they will pass finally. They might be very painful and we can't imagine holding them any longer. But as we turn our attention inwards, we learn to open our hearts. We learn that loving attention, understanding, compassion starts within ourselves. And it has a lot to do with paying attention. You know, we're saying, please pay attention to something. And I like that wording because why do we pay? It means we are giving away something from us. If we have to pay something on the internet, like you're purchasing, I don't know, a pair of sneakers, we're not just giving away our money like we often do with our attention. We will see a pair of sneakers that we like, we will compare them to other sneakers, we might go to a different website, we'll see what's the price difference, what is the quality difference, because when I give away something, my money that I worked hard for, I want to make sure it is worth it and that I will benefit and it will bring me joy in my daily life walking around with these sneakers. I also see, unfortunately, that with our attention, we are much more wasteful and generous, and we're just giving it away to everything what is happening around us. There's a little distraction here. There's an advertisement there. There are news here. There's somebody shouting there, and our attention is immediately there. Like a child falling down on the playground and hurting its knee, crying, and all the attention is at that bleeding knee. But when the ice cream truck passes by and rings the bell, the attention goes immediately there and joy arises and the pain is forgotten. And that's how we often behave too. Like we look from one thing to another and running after the famous carrot, like the donkey runs after the carrot being held in front of it. That's how we often move through our lives. And I believe that as teachers, we have a responsibility to stop and to show our students the real way. That the real way is not leading there where the carrot is going. That the real way is not leading there where the certificates are. And it is not in the future. We don't meant to arrive anywhere but at ourselves. And that's what we're here for today. That's what we signed up for. As teachers also, we know that we can also only transmit what is within us. And luckily all these seeds are within us. And we know that they are also inside our students. All of these, being it kids, teens, adults, they have seeds of compassion. They have seeds of peace, of understanding, of acceptance, of tolerance, of joy, of sadness, of anger, of desire, ignorance. All the seeds are within us. And when we learn how to practice, how to invite them in, we can suffer well when we suffer, and we can enjoy deeply the moments of joy. Thay speaks often of a garden when he speaks about the seeds. And I mean, it's literally like seeds are planted in the garden. And if we imagine a backyard with a lot of flowers, trees, plants, there are some of those who make us happy. Some of these plants bloom and they have a sweet fragrance. Some of them bear fruits. And some of them might be weeds and we don't see any purpose in them. But often, especially the weeds down below with their roots inside the soil, they do their job too. They do something that is really necessary for the other plants to grow. And they're not just taking away the water from them, but they live together in a garden, together in peace. They can grow together. And we as practitioners, we are gardeners of that garden of our heart. We water seeds that we see that we need in our lives right now. And we don't want to water those that we see that are not helpful or even harmful in this moment. We can be there for ourselves, even if we feel pain, if we suffer. We know that this plant has a place in our heart and that it is important. Thay also often said that he would never send his children, his disciples, to a place where there is no suffering, because we would not learn anything in a place without suffering. Because he taught us happiness cannot be without suffering. And we all know it when he speaks about the mud and the lotus. Without the mud, the stinky mud, there can be no fragrant lotus. He said it would be nice maybe if lotuses would grow on marble, so everything would be just hunky-dory, but it is not like that. We need the mud, and if we can accept the mud as a part of our garden, we can truly be happy while we're suffering. Another beautiful part is to be a part of Sangha, to be a part of a community that lives in harmony and awareness, that builds each other, that is there for each other. And again, quoting Thay, the most beautiful gift we can offer to each other is our presence. And present, we can only be here and now. Presence can never happen in the future. When I have that degree, I will be there for you. That doesn't work like that. I'm here for you now. I put away my work, put away my worries, and I listen to you. And that you might be me, might be the suffering in me, might be the worries in me. It doesn't take away the worries, but it makes space for it. And of all the practices that Thay has taught us, it always comes back to the breath. This vehicle that unites body and mind. The mind cannot be without the body. The body cannot be without the mind. They can, actually, and we know it. Sometimes our mind is somewhere while our body is here. And that's a beauty itself, isn't it? Like the mind is like a time machine. And while my body is right here, my mind can be in the future after this meeting. And what will I do after that? My mind can even be in another continent. I can place my mind now to Maui and putting myself like laying at the beach, watching some turtles. But when I wake up to the present moment, I see myself, I'm still here. But the body is never jealous of the mind and saying, you, mind, you just leave me always alone and you wander around and you have the best experiences and you go to travel to the best places through time and space, not only space, but also time. I can imagine being living at, I don't know, at Jesus' times or at the times of the Buddha and following the Buddha. So I can put myself with my mind anywhere. But the body is never jealous saying, you just abandon me here, you neglect me, and I have to cope with all that suffering which is here while you're having a good time. But it benefits. It benefits from this time and space traveling of the mind. And it says, when you come back to me and you share with me all what you have experienced, what you have thought and imagined, it nourishes me. And I can get in touch with what is out there. And your stories and your narratives, they might be illusory, but they create hormones, and these hormones run through me, and they make me calm, or they make me sad, or they make me angry or excited, but they stir me up and they do something and I feel alive. And although I miss you whenever you're gone, and I might run into a lamppost because my senses are not here, but my body is still here. And everybody of us has run into something, a wall, a chair, a table, when our mind is somewhere else. It's a painful little reminder to come back to the present moment. And the same is true, when we flip side it, when the mind looks at the body and says, I'm so jealous of you. You are always there. You are grounded. I sometimes feel I'm all over the place and I cannot settle. I'm here and there, and then here something happens and all my attention goes there. And then I pay attention to this and to that. And I feel confused and I feel lost sometimes. I feel I don't have a body. But then I remember you, and I'm coming back to you, and you are always there. You give me stability. You give me a home. And the body is very happy to hear that. And the mind is also happy to hear what the body appreciates about it. So it's really about uniting the two of them to get in touch with life, to get in touch with the life within us, and to get in touch with the life of the people around us, be it family, be it our students, our co-workers, friends, or just random people we meet at the street. A simple smile given to a stranger, and give me a thumbs down if you haven't experienced that. Smiling at someone, not always, but often brings a smile back. And how is that? That's because we touched something in them. We watered a seed in that person. And because all of us, we have these seeds within us. And as gardeners, we learn how to water these seeds. When I have a crazy idea, or I think of the mind and the body and telling myself these little stories, I realize that I'm smiling to myself, thinking, you silly brother Freedom, what are you thinking of? And smiling to myself, I realize I'm smiling also outwards. My smile doesn't go in a one-way direction. It goes inwards and it goes outwards. And when I smile at myself in that way, I see somebody smiling back at me and I think, why are they smiling at me? It's because I was smiling at myself. It's such a miracle. One of these little miracles of mindfulness. I was asking myself, what does Thay mean when he speaks the miracle of mindfulness? Of course, I know it's like this miracle of transformation, of living deeply. What is it? I want to grasp this miracle and get over it so I can always be with it. But it's nothing he meant for us to understand and carry in our pocket around and never be unhappy again. It's something, miracles are something like seeds that need to be watered regularly to blossom and to bloom, to spread out their fragrance, to make us smile and make people around us smile. Seeds to water in each other for the things that are important to us, that we cherish and value, that we want others to do with us, to think of us, to see the beauty in us. And for us, having means to show others and express how much we treasure them. Although sometimes it might be difficult to see or to get in touch with, because seeds of anger or frustration may be stronger. But if we know about the existence of all the seeds, we know through our breathing how to first invite the seed of mindfulness to step aside, this seed of anger, for example, and say, hey, anger, I know you are there. and I am here for you. And literally, it will say, we are in this together. We are in this human being together. You're not alone. And guess what? The anger will be happy too, because it knows I'm not just anger. There's more to me. And I am angry, but it soothes me like a shoulder, like a hand on my shoulder, calming me down, knowing there is someone listening to me. And I don't have to freak out. I can stop for a moment and pay attention to the presence of the seed of mindfulness in me. Just like the body and the mind. And the seed of mindfulness might further say, my dear anger, would you like me to invite some of my friends? Like the seed of compassion. I know they are very good listeners. You can tell them what's bothering you. They will be just sitting there and listening to you, without judging, without blaming you. They've been angry too. And the anger, believe me, will be happy to share. And the compassion will just sit there and listen. And after a while, the seed of mindfulness might invite another friend, which is the seed of understanding, and say, I understand you. Now I hear your story, and you were able to share it. I've been at the same place. And I can understand, although it feels painful also for me to listen to it, but I know it. And I know it's impermanent. But it's important for you to experience it. But it's also important to have enough space to hold it, to accept it as it is. So when we cultivate the garden of our heart, it is important through our breathing that we create a space. You know how Thay always spoke about in our house, if we have enough space, we should create a breathing corner or a breathing room where we can retreat, where we can come back to ourselves, away from the busy kitchen, from the busy office. A room when we feel overwhelmed, we can take refuge in. A physical room. And within this physical room, we will find the room within ourselves, the spaciousness of our hearts, and build and expand, create capacity to embrace what feels unpleasant, what feels painful, what feels frustrating. Maybe we want to teach something to our students and they just don't get it. And our hearts become small and we don't have the space to be there with them. We say, I cannot be with you in this little room. I'm leaving. Fact is, you cannot leave. We're still in this together. So better we invite some other seeds and we water some other seeds. The more, the merrier. And we have it all in our language, you see, paying attention. We're in this together. The more, the merrier. It's all expressions that we can use metaphorically to explain to us and to give ourselves, to empower ourselves to water wholesome seeds, to embrace harmful seeds. And I don't like the word actually harmful, because they're good for something. They're nourishing us and making us grow. A lobster, when it's growing, feels a lot of pain because it is growing and his, how would you call it, the armor or the shell around it becomes so tight that it just doesn't know what to do. And it's walking around with a lot of pain. But it knows instinctively that it has to retreat between rocks, find a safe space, and will crack the armor open and will let it go. And it will be vulnerable, but it is safe because it created this breathing room container, a safe space between the rocks where it can slowly grow a bigger armor. And when this has grown, it can go out again And for us, this container is first of all our heart, and then outside of us, a breathing room, or a sangha, a monastery, which is always there, and which you have touched too with the Plum Village tradition. So we have a lot of spaces we can retreat to when we feel we are growing. And we know that in these places there's a lot of compassion. They're all the other seeds. And as overwhelming those painful seeds may seem, we learn how to water seeds of mindfulness, of compassion, of understanding, acceptance within us, so that we are able to invite the suffering to share with us. Thay says that we are just like a tree, and our mind is like the crown of the tree with its branches and leaves. And in a storm, it can be a storm of thoughts or emotions, it is swinging wildly. All the top of the tree is swinging to the left and the right, and sometimes it is so strong that you believe it will break soon. In these times, we pay more attention to the trunk. That's where our home is, our refuge, our breathing room, our rocks. And our trunk is just a little bit upon our belly button, and we put our hands there and we breathe, and we feel our belly rising and falling, and we go there with all our attention. And you will feel that the storm doesn't touch you as much as it does on the top of the tree. You are more stable there. You're solid and firm. And you are taking care of that also the tree on top doesn't break. You stand firmly on Mother Earth, rooted in the practice, rooted in the wisdom, in the knowledge of your teacher, rooted in the presence of this moment, and you as a part of it in this present moment. So hearing this, you never want to be anywhere else but in the present moment. And if we could convince the mind, it wouldn't have to travel all over to the future, to the past, to Hawaii, to the Middle Ages. It would just be happy where it is and would take one breath after another, one step after another. I believe this is the most important teaching of Thay. And all other practices, like the walking, the eating, the sharing, the relaxing, the working, it all comes from the place of breathing and creating space, cultivating the garden of our heart, watering seeds, embracing pain, embracing suffering. Thay, when asked at a monastic retreat, where only monastics are present, of course, and he gives a series of talks, and at the end he has a question and answer. And don't believe that monastics have only wise questions. When you believe your question is maybe stupid or you embarrass yourself, listen to this. So one monastic asks, "Dear Thay, I have a question. Why are you always speaking about the same thing? We have heard this so many times. And you still continue to speak, and I'm like often getting bored and I fall asleep during your talks." And Thay said, okay. So how, my dear child, he says, do you think Thay feels talking about it again and again and you not getting it? That was an embarrassing moment. For this one monastic, we all others, we laughed, but out of relief because we felt the same, right? Thay repeats and repeats, but because we are not able to stop and calm ourselves and let the message in. And Thay never speaks about the teaching in theories. He shares his practice. When I shared about the conversation about the mind and the body, the suffering and the happiness, this is how Thay teaches us, how he practices. It's his deep and open, honest, bland way of dealing with his suffering And he always admitted he is suffering. But he's opening the space for a dialogue between these seeds. And this is what we can cultivate, being happy teachers together. This shall be a marketplace with a lot of booths and stands and different fruits and veggies. And we can share the benefits, the nutrition of the fruits we are selling or which we have on the table with those others. And we can learn so much and grow so much. So we will have many practices this weekend. And many of you may have practiced them already, like walking. Walking will be mostly offline or only offline because it's difficult to sit in front of a screen and walk together. So we rely on every one of you that the moment we start walking and you turn off your video, that you don't like just sit and watch the other picture frames, but that you actually practice walking meditation. Thay's favorite meditation. Taking step by step, saying with one step, I have arrived, with another, I am home. Each step brings me closer to where I am, not to where I want to go. Thay says we are not human doings, we are human beings. We have to be here. And often when we say, when there's nothing to do, we say, better do something than do nothing. But Thay says, better do nothing than do just something. And I found it is so simple, but there is such a deep truth in it. Often when I want to do something because I just don't want to do nothing, I do stupid things. And I do things that don't bring me joy, that don't water the seeds of compassion, of peace within me. And often I regret them later. And I see, why did I do that? That didn't bring me any further. I didn't make anyone happy. It didn't bring a smile on my face within, and I couldn't smile outside. So when we learn and allow ourselves to do nothing, but listening, we will be very well off. We say in Plough Village, we flip side things. And we don't say we ring the bell or we bang the bell. We invite the bell to sound to our ears. That seems very passive, but it's not. It's very alive. We are present and we are there. When we will be eating together during this retreat, we will be present for our food. Our food might not be alive anymore because we chopped it and there is just a stem of a broccoli, but there is life in it. There is still a frequency and a vibration there. There's still a color and there's still a structure. It might still be crunchy. And while chewing it slowly, I can imagine how it has looked like, how it came to my plate, who cooked it, who bought it, who brought it to the store, who watered it as a plant, and who planted the seed, and how much work and time has passed until it came here. We might know the nutriments about that piece of broccoli, how healthy it is, how much energy and strength it will give me. So now I'm asking myself, what do I want to do with this energy and with that strength? What do I want to eat in order to be strong? And what am I doing with it? We all know that deep relaxation everybody enjoys, but often we don't make time for it. Because is it a waste of time, half an hour, 45 minutes, just lie down and do nothing? Is it really? When you watch a baker kneading bread, you know that he's kneading bread only for a certain amount of time and then puts it aside because it needs to rest. And without that resting time, it cannot become a bread. He needs to knead it again and then it needs to rest again. And knead and rest. And so we are nothing more as a bread. We need to work and then we do not. We need to relax and do nothing, just listening to ourselves. And then something opens in our heart, some understanding about ourselves. We get in touch with that knowledge that no university can teach us, no grade, no certificate can offer to us. And that's a good thing because we cannot compromise it. It's not corrupt. Nobody can sell it or make it hip. It's a hidden gem. It's a gem in the lotus flower of our hearts. And we as teachers, we are able to get in touch with it and to share it for future generations. This is the work of a bodhisattva who recognizes who she is or who he is, and who uses this wisdom and this power to help all beings transform their suffering and water seeds of compassion, of peace. So whatever we'll be doing in Dharma sharing, you will have the chance to open your hearts, to lay out what makes you suffer, what makes you happy, to listen to others, what are their pain, what is their joys, just to listen and to be there. In the workshops, we will have the chance to constructively come together and also share about our strategies, our tools in the classroom, with teammates, with co-workers, with our children, with the children of our neighbor, how we relate to them, what we do see in them, and how we can build them, how we can build each other. But it has to start here first, inside of us, growing a heart. We will have enough bells of mindfulness. Some of you, I see you are too. Karen and Nico are here still in my little frame. You remind each other. We have the bells of mindfulness on the Plum Village app. But we don't also need all the time some technical devices. There are so many bells of mindfulness, like our in-breath and our out-breath. Like a piece of pain, something that we react to. Thay often says a red traffic light can be a reminder to stop. And often when we do so and we stop and we come back to our breathing, to our body, allow the shoulders to hang loose again, to relax, we feel more at home, we feel more space, and the body can actually offer space, not being tense but expanding, and our breath becomes more deep, spacious, free. You see, this is the black ribbon of Thay's funeral, which we will wear for 1 year now in remembrance of Thay and his teachings. And it says in Vietnamese, coming, going, and freedom. Coming, going, and freedom. You might remember the calligraphy, be free where you are. And why? Because it is possible. It is who we really are, who we truly are. We are free. And we are beautiful human beings. And when we are not, we just have watered the wrong seeds. We have paid attention to the wrong things. And if we know that, we can smile at ourselves and say, you stupid little thing, like you looked at this again and it's not doing you any good. And it's sweet because we are imperfect. And Thay says we don't want to be perfect. Plum Village is not an organization. Plum Village is an organism. And an organism is allowed to skip a heartbeat, to forget something, to fall and to have a bleeding knee, and to hear the ice cream truck bell ringing. We are all of this. We are beautiful beings. So please, in this retreat, take a chance and allow yourself to be vulnerable. Allow yourself to be imperfect. And with this, you are inviting seeds of compassion, of understanding, and you will allow your heart to grow wide, having the capacity to invite pain in, to invite suffering in. I really, from the bottom of my sweet little heart, wish each one of us a fruitful and a joyful and also a painful time together, because now we are together and it's precious, and we hold each other and we build each other. And each one of us will come out of this weekend more beautiful. Not more beautiful as we have been before, but we will be more aware of it. And even when we suffer, we know that we are a beautiful being. I want to end here. I think this gives us a good path for an inspiration for this retreat, for wishes and hopes, and also as a reminder who we are and what we are practicing for. We have been very fortunate to have had Thay as a teacher. I don't know how many times it happens that you live with such a soul on the same planet at the same time as we have been so fortunate to have to. And it would be not fair to not take everything in what he has taught us. And he taught us everything he knew, because it's not a secret. He said it's simple, but not easy. And he encouraged us to be compassionate. And he encouraged us to start with ourselves. So even if you hear the same things the monastics saying again and again, when you think why they are always saying the same thing all over again, ask yourself, am I getting it? Or do I really need these reminders again and again? And this is what plants need. They need water again and again. Little strokes fell oaks, right? Continuous drops carve a stone. And this is what we do with the seeds of our consciousness. We water them, nourish ourselves, we blossom, and then we share it with others. I'd like you to find a comfortable position now, wherever you are. If you sit already comfortable, please remain so. If you have slouched to your couch, maybe you want to sit up or just stay like you are. Find a comfortable but stable position where you can stay for the next 7 minutes. I would like to introduce you to a music-infused meditation, which I call the power meditation. And not because it gives you magical power, in a way it does, but it empowers you in a very short time to find inner peace, to get in touch with this very moment, with a life within you in this very moment, with a miracle of mindfulness. And some of you might know this meditation as the in-out, deep, slow meditation. And we know that these 5 lines, repeated while listening to our breathing, can calm down strong emotions, can calm down confusion, irritation, sadness. And while we're learning to practice with this, every day we will be ready to calm the storm, to weather the storm when it's about to break our treetop and to come back to our trunk. So you might want to sit down, feel the feet on the ground. If you like, you can put your hands on your belly and just feel the belly rising and falling. Feel the trunk of your tree. And now scan your body for a moment and feel if there's any tension that is not necessary for your sitting position, for the position you're in now, that you don't need to hold you upright, but that you can let go of. Which is often the shoulders. Can you let them hang loose just a little bit more? Your jaw, can you relax it a bit more and hang your mouth loose? Yes, you can. And you look beautiful. And now we want to pay our attention, bring it inwards. Feel the breath that unites body and mind, inviting the mind to come back to the body and inviting the body to be aware of the mind. And please follow your breath for a while so I can start my suffering, the share screen. And you are safe in your breathing room. Breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. In, out. As I continue to watch my breath flowing in and out naturally, I am able to recognize that my in-breath grows deeper and my out-breath slower. This realization brings me to the next exercise. Breathing in, my in-breath grows deep. Breathing out, my out-breath grows slow. Deep, slow. As I observe my in-breath growing deeper and my out-breath slower, I'll feel my mind calming down and the tension of my body easing. I'm now ready for the next step. Breathing in, my mind is calming down. Breathing out, the The tension of my body is easing. Calm, ease. As I continue to follow my in-breath and my out-breath, growing deeper and slower, my mind calming and the tension of my body easing, I feel joy arising in me, knowing where I have come to simply by observing my breath. Breathing in, I smile to myself. Breathing out, I release all thinking, feeling, or tension that is still there. Smile, release. As I observe a deep sense of relaxation and peace, my body and mind have arrived in the here and now, unobstructed by any regrets about the past or worries about the future. I realize that this present moment is a wonderful moment. Breathing in, I have arrived in the here and now. Breathing out, this moment is a wonderful moment. Present moment, wonderful moment. In, out, deep, slow, calm, ease, smile, release, present moment, wonderful And as we continue to breathe, we can slowly and gently open our eyes, feel ourselves, feel the people that might be around us, or have a glimpse at these little frames. Offer a smile, knowing that we are here now. Welcome to the land of the present moment. That's us, happy teachers together. I'm so glad that we're all here, and I wish us a joyful and a fruitful, as I said, a painful time together. Thank you for your deep listening, for your practice, and for your presence. We'd like to offer you a little break. You might need a bite.